Right, so day number 4 on this fucking manifold. I think I'm literally about 35 hours in now, but yeah. Right, so I just finished off that pizza. So where are we at? I've got 2 of the 4 runners welded up. I have fucked up because I was supposed to leave 2 pipes on the flange and I accidentally broke it off. So now I've only got 1 remaining reference point. Piecing this back together is going to be a bit of a cunt. But yeah, live and learn. We'll find a way, and yeah, best time to start cracking on again. Just one quick thing before I actually start welding again. Needed some more safety glasses, so Lidl's actually had some. This gave me a little bit of a fucking tickle. I mean, Lidl's, fuck knows how well my eyes are going to survive, but safety spectacles, yes. Offers hearing protection when working in the garage, home or garden. Okay, so my ear sight is going to be perfect after this. What the fuck, Lidl's? Right, well, I figured I might as well try and give you guys some form of money shot. So, no time like the present. And the key to this is literally one small piece at a time. And this is exactly why it's taken so fucking long. Right, so one irritating thing I'm having to keep doing is try and use something as a bit of a dead weight to hold this pipe steady. Hence the copper hide. Well, I've ended up doing a lot of this off camera. Fuck me, it went completely tits up basically. Where the fuck do we start? So, the massive speech about heat distortion and stuff like that, well, it still fucking caught me out. Everything fucking shifted. So this first runner has shifted somewhere, which then threw the other 3 out. I've managed to somehow claw it back. So I've got the collector on. I've got 1 runner on from that side, obviously, 1 from this side, and at the moment, that's, if we can zoom in, whoa, bit too much. At the moment, that's all tigged up, both sides. Zoom in again. That's all back purged, and for the second, that is still coming on and off. Nice, free, there's no tension across it. I mean, how I had to get this pipe in, so I sort of had my datum still here, and I managed to get this one over, but there was a gap. I ended up having the bridge. Luckily, I'm quite decent at jumping gaps with filler rod. Got used to having to do it at work. But, so out of everything, I think this pipe is just about going to go back in okay. There is going to be a little bit of gap jumping up this end. So, again, that'll all be jigged up so it can't go anywhere. But this pipe, I think, is an absolute disaster. I don't think there's no way of getting this one back in. So it looks like it fits, but by the time you've got it flat to this face and trying to get it somewhat flat to this face, it just doesn't fucking marry up. Not only that, it's then too close to this pipe and the back pipe, which has got to go back in there. This back pipe cannot move anywhere because it's dictated by the runner on the intake manifold. So I managed to salvage 3 of them in the end, but it looks like this last one is going to fight me all the fucking way and it's going to end up having to be cut up. Right, so that's pipe number 3 now tacked back in. Yeah, so I'm going to have to be a little bit tactical about how I weld this up. So we are still close to the inlet, as we were anyway. But so when I start welding it, I'm going to have to start welding in here. So when the TIG weld shrinks, it will pull the runner this way. And then when I weld the other side, it shouldn't pull it back too much more into the inlet manifold. But yeah, I'm completely understanding now in why they call exhaust manifolds welders' nightmares. Definitely deserving of their nickname. Pipe number 3 is finally back in. So we are still close to the inlet, but that is what it is. Can't do a lot more about that. That's going to end up being gold tape heaven. Maybe some exhaust wrap, as long as we can get it in without it touching. Do keep considering ceramic coating this at the end, so we'll see. But right, so the final runner, it's getting a bit late. So the final runner, right, number 4. Now, when I offered this up, it did not want to fit in at all. It was touching on there, touching on here where it had shrunk, and where it was lining up to the right hand side, so it was almost double the wall thickness of the pipe out, basically where it had shrunk so much. So put a couple of tactical cuts in it, had to rejig some stuff, and if we can zoom in, I had to put in this sleeve here, this little straight sleeve. But yeah, I mean, it's not the prettiest welding, but function over form at this point. But yeah, finally the last piece ready to go in, and I don't know if I can do this one-handed. And she literally like slots back in perfect. Like, I got all my clearances back and everything. It's going to be a long night. Right, so it's 9 PM. We've finally got something what resembles a manifold. Now, I apologise. This video is going to end up being very disjointed, mainly because the amount of things what went wrong with this. In the end, I just had to knuckle down, get on with it, and I couldn't focus on both trying to do this manifold and trying to film at the same time. So, I mean, this is a project. This is one of those I never want to take on again. I very much understand now why manifolds cost what they do by fabricators. At the end of the day, for the cost of the materials, the amount of tools I've had to buy, etc., plus nearly 40 hours of my time so far, and we haven't even got the turbo mounted on the end yet. £1,000 in hindsight is not a lot of money to make one of these manifolds. So yeah, once again, I apologise if this ends up being a really short video. I have no idea how much content I've actually recorded for this. It's just one of them. Like I said, I just had to knuckle down, get the job done. I mean, let's take 2 seconds and actually talk about some of the complications I had with this manifold. So complication number 1, of course, my flanges. Originally, I designed what I thought would be a better one piece, so there wouldn't be no distortion, no nothing like that. That one piece ended up hitting the block, hitting the head gasket, hitting the grub screws, which I think they are for retaining the pre-cups. I'm not actually 100% sure. But yeah, I did not pay attention to the cylinder head. I just literally looked at it and thought, yeah, I can do something like that. I can mimic the shape of the cast exhaust manifold, which didn't work out. Problem number 2, my fit up. So my fit up did me absolute dirty here. I should have took a little bit longer and made sure there was absolutely no gaps in between any of these joints. So the very thing I kept on talking about heat expansion, shrinking of weld, stuff like that, including my bad fit up, all of that happened. Literally, it was as bad as it could be. So on to point number 3. After the fit up, the other big cock up I made would be the fact that I started breaking down these runners, but I didn't leave myself any reference points. So there was absolutely no reason to break all 4 runners off the flanges. I could have left one of each runner on the flange still. The same as I didn't need to remove the collector from all of the runners. I could have left the collector on one runner. That fucked me up big styly. In the end, I managed to get there, but we're talking nearly 2 hours of rotating this like a degree at a time, having to spot weld it, break the tack off, weld it again, break the tack off, run pipes up. In the end, we got there, and the biggest mistake pipe-wise, what I actually found, was this one. So I don't really know what happened when I welded it up. I know this straight section in here was an absolute bastard to make in the first place, and I think I left some big gaps in there. So when I welded that up, those gaps shrunk and pulled all of this tight, to the point of I actually had to add this straight collar in to compensate just how much shorter that was. So that's telling you how bad collectively my fit up was in all of these joints. We've managed to recover it, and it's not too bad. I can still pull the manifold on and off relatively easy. I could make it easier if I was to drill the 8mm holes out to 8.5, because at the moment they're just ever so slightly binding on these studs. Not enough to stress the studs, not enough to make it impossible to fit, but that's something for me to go away and think about. I'm also going to have to consider what hardware I use on these. So I am my favourite type of nuts are the copper flashed style flange nuts, which you get on the BMW, I think it's the E30s. But yeah, I think Worth make them. So I want to get some of them. I don't know what to do about this hardware. So that's just mild steel. Anyone knowing what stainless is like, it can end up rusting the stainless being in contact. So I might just get some stainless collars, to be honest. That would solve that one. And then I need to get some proper stubby studs. So I probably could go stubbier on the top, but I do like these OEM studs. So I think I'm going to end up keeping these ones in the top and getting some proper ones for the bottom. But yeah. So, manifold, there you go. If I was to give you one piece of advice, pay somebody to do it. Don't sit there and try and make one yourself, because I thought I had the skills to do this, and I look at it and I'm still questioning it, to be honest. Right, so I really think I need to call it a night now. Moving forward, next plan of action, obviously I've got to get the turbo mounted onto that manifold. So that'll be having to go back in the car, being mocked up again, have a look at the turbo positioning, the actuator we've still got to look at as well. Yeah, then start fabricating the very end tailpiece to mount the turbo itself. After that, we've also got some support brackets to make for the manifold. But yeah, I think that's about it. I think we're nearly there on the home straight as such. But so what comes next? Well, had my new fuel pump arrive, or my donor fuel pump, so I've now got the components to strip that out. I've obviously got everything else needed to build said forged engine, so just got to crack the whip out now and try and get this actually finished. But yeah, thank you for watching. Appreciate it as always. You could give us a like and subscribe. And I will see you around. Catch you next time.